Well, yeah, I think at this particular time, President Obama is naturally a lightning rod for the movement. He's sort of the spokesman for the hope and change that he ran on, and that our present administration and Congress is still trying to sell us. And frankly, no politician is above ridicule. I think it's fun to make funny signs with pictures of the president. I remember several years ago seeing all these signs with Bush and Hitler on the same sign. I don't really have a problem with that. If someone is inciting violence, that's different. But in every sort of mass movement like this, you can have fringe elements, and any signs that you're referring to, I'm not sure which ones, but everybody's seen them. That might seem off color or dangerous in some way. They were not really emblematic of the movement at large.
And regarding Dick Armey, Freedom Works, Sarah Palin, and all these other things that the media seems to be latching onto, in my opinion, to conquer and divide, or divide and conquer, so to speak, the growing Tea Party movement. This is a grassroots movement. We don't pay allegiance to any of these people. Like I said, I don't even know who Dick Armey is. I mean, I've heard the name only because of Freedom Works and being connected at some level here and there. But quite frankly, you guys probably already know that there's a lot of people within the Tea Party movement that were upset and extremely pissed off to some degree at some of the people that were speaking at the supposed convention that cost an outrageous amount of money. There's a lot of criticism within the movement, and that's good. That's a good thing.
Are you not concerned that a lot of people, and there's a body of evidence that connects the original Tea Party movement to Freedom Works, to Dick Armey's lobbyist organization, and Dick Armey was one of the worst offenders in terms of growing government and then leveraging his role in government to make even more money after his career ended. I mean, there are a lot of people who see a pretty direct connection from this man who I don't think anybody would hold up as a standard for good government to your organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think you make some good points about Dick Armey. We're not connected with Freedom Works in any way. And it's true that when a grassroots movement like this takes the country by storm, you're going to have folks who have already established their organizations and their think tanks and their parties who are going to try and butt in. And they're going to try and elbow their way into the movement. And that's what Dick Armey and Freedom Works has been trying to do. Here in Asheville, we won't let them. Now, they've tried to jump in front of the parade in other ways by organizing rallies in Washington and organizing rallies even here in Raleigh. And we just won't have anything to do with it. It's very upsetting to us, and we are very consistent in pushing back on partisanship or allowing other groups to co-opt our movement.
For example, the first Tea Party here locally, the so-called unorganized one, the media portrayed it even as a Republican Tea Party, which was totally ridiculous. However, again, anytime you have a movement start, any other groups that are out there that want to do so are going to try to usurp the movement and control it and make it their movement.
Yeah. So when prominent members of the Asheville Tea Party post on the Freedom Works blog, there's no connection between the two organizations?
There's no official connection between the two organizations. This is a very loose-knit, grassroots type of thing. You're going to find all kinds of interconnections that are not formal or official.
And so you're saying that the local Tea Party organization and the PAC that has grown out of the Asheville Tea Party are not affiliated in any way financially or intellectually with Freedom Works?
Not in any way. No, we are entirely independent.
That's been one of our criticisms as we look at the makeup of the Tea Party, because you're right. Organizations do try to force their way in, but it confused Lesley and I because everybody was throwing around the term grassroots, and at the top it looked like there was some serious special interest at work.
I'm sure there's special interests involved in the Republican Party, Democratic Party, and every other party out there.
Well, Bernard, let me ask you something. What's the makeup? You said that the Asheville Tea Party is made up of various people, different walks of life. What's the makeup party-wise? Do you have some Democrats, some Republicans, some Libertarians?
It seems like a mixed bag to me, as far as I can tell.
So it's not an appendage of...
What am I? For example, I mean, I'm wearing a Libertarian... gun-toting economist on drugs T-shirt, kind of as a joke. I thought you guys might get a kick out of it. I'm not a large L libertarian. I'm a libertarian-minded American human being, and it bothers me that there continues to be in America this idea that you have to, if you're a Republican, you have to think like this. If you're a Democrat, you have to think like this, and so on and so forth. America was created on the idea of individual unalienable rights. The idea of government is initially and legally is that we, the people, give government power. It's not the government just gets power from the blue, that we give it power. We grant it power, and it's supposed to be limited by a set of laws, objective laws, in this case called the Constitution. The way that I understand it, Tim and other people that are involved in the Tea Party and other movements, is that the government over time is just doesn't really care what the laws are. They just do whatever they want to do without regard to what the law is. Now, if you don't like something in the Constitution, then there's a process by which to change it. However, it seems like the government just does whatever it wants to do, and nowadays it seems to do it and be boastful about it.
And a lot of us on the left would say that George W. Bush was the worst offender of the Constitution and constitutional principles in our lifetimes. That
I can agree with that to an extent, but I'd say if you have to start hanging people, you got to pretty much hang them all since 1913 at least.
All right, Tim, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up. The Tea Party here locally, at least, is a pretty good mixture of people. And I'm on the board of the Asheville Tea Party Peck, and I'm not a Republican. I'm not affiliated with any party. I believe
I'm technically. I have to go down and re-register. I'm technically registered as a libertarian. That was to help Mike Munger and the Libertarian Party of North Carolina get on the ballot. I plan on registering unaffiliated, and I think I'll keep it that way for the rest of my life, hopefully.
So what you're saying is you just have folks that are new to politics?
A lot of people,
so.
It seems like, are very new to political activism that are involved in the Tea Party. It seems like it anyway. A lot of people are just getting more and more upset as things continue. And again, nothing started, and I'm quick to mention when somebody starts railing about Obama, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Obama's continuing and in some ways exponentially increasing a lot of the problems. However,
how is he exponentially increasing? I mean,
mainly financially.
After 8 years of George W. Bush and trillions.
What's our deficit now compared to the 10 years before? I'm saying it keeps increasing, and it seems to be at an exponential.
Reagan tax cuts, George W. Bush's tax cuts, and the trillions of dollars spent on war and the after effects of war. I mean, we haven't even seen the cost of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. I mean, they're predicting 20 times the cost of what we spent.
And we're still going to be there.
So
we're still escalating the war. We're still escalating
in all
the
fairness, how can we say that Obama is exponentially worse than George W. Bush?
We're talking about the financial issue more than anything, is from what I understand, because the Tea Party mainly was sparked because of the financial issues. The debt that keeps increasing, the fact that the Congress decided to take public money and spend it in private interests, and bailing out corporations that are private entities, and forcing banks to take bailout money, all these different things.
But again, this movement could have started 5 years ago and had a lot more validity than a year ago.
We're up against a break, but we're going to come back and continue to talk to you guys if you have more time.
Sure.
We're enjoying this. This is Local Edge Radio on 880 The Revolution. We're talking to the Tea Party, so stay with us.